We doing every Wednesday Where It's At show, which is our open mic here at Black and Nobel. But tonight we have a special night because we have a special guest, Tashera Simmons, who is the wife of DMX. She's in the building tonight signing her new book. She'll be signing it up until 11 o'clock tonight. And this is the book. You think you know, but you have no idea. So, like I said, this is the wife of DMX, and I'm sure you can put one and two together and get what this book is about. And she'll be here signing. I'm sure we'll get some interviews with her, and I'm grateful to have her out.
And what inspired me was that when I realized that I can help someone else by my story. And how I realized I could do that because so many people used to come up to me, you know, and when I just was at my lowest, actually, because I've been through a lot dealing with the industry and, you know, just everything with my husband, and, you know, people would come up to me and say, keep your head up, you know, you have such an amazing story, and you know, you've inspired me. And the more people came up to me and said that, the more I started building my confidence, because before that, you know, I didn't, you know, when you just living that, you know, the life that I was living, you really don't think that anybody would be able to relate at all. And the reason why I named my book, You Think You Know But You Have No Idea, is because I feel like people see me and they think they know. But what they don't know is that I'm human. I'm someone that deals with the everyday life that they may deal with, but the difference between me and them is I can't hide mine. I'm in a public eye throughout the world, so I have to carry myself a certain way, whether I'm broke with no money or I'm going through something. I don't have to go around with a smile, but that's what I choose to, because I know that it's only by the grace of God is why I'm still here today with my mind, and I'm happy, and I want to be able to apply my life into someone else's life, and I feel like that's what we're all here for on this earth, to give back. And since God saved my life, I want to save somebody else's through my story.
We met about 15 years ago. This is even before DMX even exploded. You know what I'm saying? We was at the manager of DMX's office, Ray. One of my boys, Yuckmouth, was managed by him also. But I'm going to show her the footage and how things come right back around, full circle. You know what I'm saying? There we are in 2013. I think this was in like 98, 99. So I'm excited that she came to Philly to start her tour. I appreciate it. And thank you very much for everybody that's tuning in, because you know you with the Bookmaster. All right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's go.
You know, looking at this video really took me way back. That's like the first year of X's career, and I didn't even have a clue what was getting ready to happen. I was so happy that my best friend, everything that we talked about as kids was finally coming true. And I couldn't believe that now I'm seeing plaques on the wall from, matter of fact, because I think that might have been 2 years, because the first year he came out, he went platinum, both albums in 1 year. And it happened so fast that we still didn't realize what was happening. It was crazy, and all I remember is just being happy that, oh my God, because I didn't even believe it, you know. And the reason why is because no money was coming in, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like holding everything down, and he's rapping and he's going all over and he's battling people and he's all excited about everything. And you know, I was very, very encouraging and supportive of his career, but after like me and him was together for 10 years before he got famous. So after like the 5th year, I was like, Earl, you need to get a job. Like, I'm holding everything down. Do that part-time. And he did get a job. He started working with his uncle and, you know, doing construction and painting. But, you know, in his downtime at night, he would just be writing rhymes, and that was his passion. And even when his most closest person in his life was saying maybe you need to hang it up, he still kept it going. So I do say in my book that he is one of my biggest inspirations, because he inspired me to the point where no matter what you think or whatever you're told, if you have a dream, stick with it, and at the end of the day it will happen. Just you have to believe. And you know, he had a drug problem back then, I mean, and you know, he's, regardless of the drug problem, whatever that was going on in his life, it wasn't as bad as it is now, but you know, he used to slip and fall, and he would always get back up and get with his music. So that was very inspiring. And even though I don't have a drug problem, I didn't. In my darkest days, you know, because of everything that me and him, you know, was going through, and financial situations, I always remember that. Even though he was the problem of my whole situation, because in the book you gotta read, you know, he kind of turned on me because, you know, he got destroyed. With the world, you know, one thing about fame and fortune, everyone becomes a yes person.
Get this kid in the front.
We'll be a big city. You won't take this from me, baby. You will not take this from me, baby.
Where's that?
Put niggas on nice city trips.
I'm talking about.
It's dog.
DJ Greg Nice on the ones and twos. Yeah. Welcome to Tashera Simmons to the show, y'all. Give us some love. Give us some love. In Philadelphia.
That was some kind of intro.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That was some kind of intro. I love it.
I'm glad that you're here. Now, this not your first time in Philly, is it?
The first time in 10 years.
Oh, wow. So you're going to have a good time in Philly then.
Yes, I love the Philly love.
You still talk to DMX?
I do. We're not on good terms, though. Because, you know, he's just, you know, he's not doing right.
That's my favorite rapper.
I know.
So, first, where you from, originally?
YO, Yonkers, New York.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was at first. I just gonna fake it. All right. Give us New York some love, y'all. Give some New York some love. You ain't been...
I forgot, y'all.
Yeah.
YO. Y'all ain't heard X say YO before?
Yeah, I've heard him say that. I just didn't know. But now it makes sense. I just forgot about X saying YO.
Yeah.
I love X. X used to... He got that music, you know, just make you just punch somebody in the mouth sometime. And then to clean it all up at the end, he prays at the end of the joint. Man, I just felt like a thug. You know what I mean? When DMX was on, I had a button up ready just knock a nigga out for nothing. But, oh man, so we glad that you're here. So just tell us a little bit about, you know what I mean, the book, your journey, whatever. You know what I mean? Just talk a little bit to the audience at BlackandNobel.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me at BlackandNobel. I heard that this is like a serious spot I'm in right now, especially when it comes to books and promoting. I heard it goes out to the jails and women jails too?
All of them.
All of them? Yeah, so thank you for having me. I feel very honored. You want me to talk about my book?
Yeah.
What do you want me to talk about?
Well, before we get to the reading part, just talk about, like, what's your inspiration for writing the book?
I was inspired by my life. Unfortunately, you know, I've been through a lot. From my childhood, you know, I was abandoned as a child. That's when my first trial started. You know, meeting DMX at the age of 11. Me and him got together at 18. Being my best friend. Me and him, you know, me and him was from broken homes, both of us, and we were, even though we were from broken homes, we were from two different worlds. X grew up on School Street, and I grew up on Linden Street, which was more like suburban, kind of suburban, like, you know, diverse. Like School Street was the projects, and I lived in a family, you know, 4-family house block, whatever, but I forgot, but I lost my train of thought. What inspired me to write the book? What inspired me to write the book was I just wanted to, by my story and what I've been through, I wanted to help someone else, basically, bottom line. What I've been through was very painful, you know, very hurtful, from my childhood to, you know, my marriage. First of all, I'll start off with my childhood. I'm the oldest of 8. My mother, one day, and I'm not going to give too much, it's all in the book, she said she was going to the store and never came back. I was 14 years old. And everything went crazy. We had the close to perfect life. You know, my dad, I was Muslim, and my mom and dad, my mom was a great woman. She's Panamanian, very humble, and everything was good. And she just walked out one day and never came home. My dad turned to drugs. And I'm the oldest, so I started taking care of my brothers and sisters. I wanted to, instead of turning to drugs or, you know, stripping, you know, 14 years old, you know, there was nothing, like, what can I do to bring money in? But I just continued to work, take care of my, you know, as much as I can, my brothers and sisters. And, you know, I ran into X at the 4 years after that, and he was inspired by what I was doing from, you know, doing for my brothers and sisters. And he was from a broken home and didn't have that. So he automatically, me and him automatically got like this. And we were inseparable from the time that we met. We actually ran into each other at 11 years old, though. When I was going to the store, he was robbing an old lady with his little dog. And that was the biggest excitement that I ever had, because as a Muslim, it was, you know, it was very strict, the home that I lived in. We couldn't go outside. And I was sent to the store to get some ice cream and cake, and I saw this little young boy, I was 11, and with a black dog, and I said, it looks like that boy is giving that dog a command. And sure enough, the dog grabbed the old lady's purse, shook it up, and DMX, Earl Simmons, ran past me, and me and him made eye contact. And he had like this smirk with a smile when he looked at me, because he saw I saw everything. And look, I'm just, because you asked me what inspired me, I'm telling you what inspired me in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, 2 years after that, you know, from that time on, I was gassed. I was like, oh my God, like, I couldn't watch TV. He was my hero. Like, oh wow, like this little boy just took a, you know, that was just like, really, I was moved by it. So I always used to fantasize about him and how he was gonna be my protector and come save me out of my situation and all this stuff. And then 2 years later, I saw him coming out of a building. I was in School Street, you know, I was a little older then, and I saw him, and I remembered the face, and I said, isn't that, I was like, what's that boy's name? And she was like, who? And I was like, the guy right there. And she was like, my friend said, that's Earl Simmons, you don't want to be knowing him. And I was like, why? She was like, he's in and out of homes, and he's a bully. And I was, and inside I was like, oh, good, he's still up to the same things. But, and outside I was like, oh really? I don't want to deal with no boy like that. And I was, you know, like, oh, I got to get to know him. But I never saw him again. And then 2 years after that, which is 4 years after that, you know, incident with the dog, we meet up in a club. I was only 18. His DJ introduced us, and matter of fact, his DJ said, a guy named DMX wants to meet you. And I didn't, you know, I was only 18. I didn't want to mess with any guys from Yonkers. And I was from the in crowd. I was part of the in crowd. And I was like, School Street. I was like, So he was like, and I said, well, if he wants to meet me, tell him to come over here. And an hour went past, he never came. I forgot about it. Next thing you know, I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, and I was like, Earl. And he said, you know my name? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, Tashera. And I said, how'd you know my name? And he was like, I always liked you ever since I saw you on Linden. I was like, when? He said, when we were 11. And I couldn't believe that he remembered me. He said, I always dreamed about you. So I'm saying all this to say, because I could go on and on about that, is we are and we're childhood sweethearts. And after that, you know, I heard that he was an inspiring rapper. I heard he was the best in Yonkers, and you know, he was telling me about everything that was going on and how he goes all over the boroughs and he battles people. He's the best, blah blah blah. So after that, we wound up getting so close. The energy, I have dated, I was only 18, but between 16 and 17, I had dated other boys, and I never met somebody like him before. The energy, he was like a rush, seriously. I mean, I never had met someone that was so talented, smart, and with so much drive, with passion in his dreams and what he wanted to fulfill. And you know, we were poor, both of us, in the ghetto, and you know, I was inspired by that. And to speed it up, you know, I watched him take his dream to a whole nother level. Even when his best friend, because we were like this from day one, didn't even really believe in him, because now we're like 21 and we have a son, and you're still trying to rap and you're not going nowhere. I'm holding it down, I'm paying bills. You know how us women are. Yeah, it's nice, everybody likes you hot, but you gotta get a job because you gotta help me. And he wound up turning it around, and where he was like, you owe me, let's pinky finger, like, what did I say? Because he started barking, and he was like, I'm gonna be telling niggas, get at me, dog. And I'm like, nobody is gonna bark, and nobody's gonna want to say, get at me, dog. And he was like, watch, you'll see, you'll see. You know how relationships, you know how boyfriend and girlfriends do. Right. And I had to bow down when he blew up, bro, for that get at me, dog, because that was his first thing, and nobody believed in it. And he blew up, and after that, I was just like, I'm a believer, you're right, you won. And from there, we turned into millionaires overnight. Seriously, literally, we went from the projects to a house. Instead of just being real and seeing that this person is losing herself because no one's telling them the truth, I become the bad guy, because I've known him, you know, since we were kids. So I saw my best friend gain the world and slowly losing his soul. So I was trying to catch that. And it was very painful to see, you know, him becoming something that he never wanted to be. And you know, he was mad at me. He was saying, you're a hater, you're this, you're that, and I started becoming his enemy. And it was very hurtful, because I'm like, am I crazy? I know that what I'm telling you is right, but I stuck to my guns. And you know, when I told him I didn't want to be with him anymore, he cut me off of money and everything, and he became a person that I never thought he could be. But you know, when you become almost feeling like God, where you don't have to go to court, you don't have to deal with any, you know, responsibility, and anything you tell somebody, they listen and basically praise you. I mean, you don't want to hear that. And I don't even think he realized what he was doing when he did what he, you know, was doing. But anyway, I say all that to say that even though he became my worst enemy, you know, it was the things that I learned in the early on in the years when we were, you know, nobody, and you know, still human. It helped me, you know, get to where I'm going and where I am today. So, you know, with the of course the strength of God in my life, you know, it was a lot of elements that helped me, you know, become strong. But you know, I try to say in my book, it's not a bashing book. It's not about bashing DMX at all, because I still love DMX very, very much. He's the father of my children, and I've known him for 25 years. I'm 42 years old. I've known him half of my life. So the book is very inspiring. It's moving. It's a life. You'll learn a lot of things, and you'll be able to relate to a lot of things and apply it in your life. And I'm hoping that by putting out my most painful hurts and embarrassing situations, that it can help someone else. So I turned my pain into purpose, and I feel really good about it. And I'm so happy that I wrote the book. It was one of my biggest accomplishments in life thus far. And I hope that what people need to realize, that the only reason why I had to tell my story and include DMX and tell the most ugliest situations of our life is because I never fell in love with DMX. I don't even know who DMX is. I fell in love with Earl Simmons. I met Earl Simmons when he was 11. I got with him at 18, and we grew together as kids to teenagers to to adults. So that's all I know. So I'm telling a story, unfortunately, that this person is very loved and he's a public figure. So I'm using my life as a public figure to hopefully inspire and help other women and men that's in the same situation. So that's all it's about. I really need people to know that. So take the DMX fact out and see a man that's in pain, that's been dealing with a lot of demons since they were a kid, and they use drugs to suppress it. Drugs is only just a symptom of DMX's pain and hurt. So take DMX out. You know, you may be able to help a family member that's dealing with the same thing that he's dealing with by reading my book and say, you know what, I think maybe this is what you could do different. Or maybe you may have a partner, woman or man, that's dealing with the same thing that I dealt with in my marriage, and maybe say, oh, this is what we could do differently for my life. So that's all it is about, and it's a really good book, and I still cry at a lot of parts when I read it because it brings me back into time, and it's very hurtful right now where me and him is. And I pray every day and night that me and him do come back together as friends at least, and he does what he has to do for his children, because that's all it's about, is our kids now at the end of the day. He got like $22,000 advance, and the manager was like, you guys don't need to spend your food stamps in the supermarket. And me and X was like, oh, we gonna finish these food stamps.
I hear that. I gotta finish mine.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that I'm going somewhere else with what you asked me,
that's
but
fine.
you know, I'm just trying to take y'all on a ride with me on where we were and where we went to, where we came from, and how quick it just all unfolded. And I mean, when you get into this business, for all you inspiring rappers or singers or whatever, it's a whole nother world. It's like we were virgins coming into this business, and when you start getting money and that fame and fortune comes, they start telling you how you should act, how you should be. And X wasn't having that. Please follow me so you can see my day-to-day life. I'm on tour. I'm getting ready to go to DC, North Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, and I mean the cities are just going on and on and on. But follow me at Tashera Simmons on Instagram, Tashera Simmons on Facebook, and Tashera Simmons on Twitter. I try to make it real easy for you so that way you can find me. So no bootyless, just dash Tashera Simmons, just Tashera Simmons. The industry is a devil's playground, and if you're not strong, you can get sucked up. Not saying that he wasn't strong, but he didn't have a strong foundation. Even though I wasn't enough. You have to really, really see and understand where these people is coming from. They bring you in, they pull you in with all these hopes and dreams, and then once they get you, it's almost like you're selling your soul without even knowing it. And X knew that. And he used to tell me that, because when we first blew up, look, I always say that because I can't help it. But when he first blew up, they offered to buy us a really big estate, and he was like, nah, we gonna buy our own house. And I was like, nigga, it's gonna be for free. They gonna buy it. Def Jam's gonna buy it. He was like, Tashera, ain't nothing ever for free. And come to find out, it was all coming out of his budget. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned a lot from him, and he always had a good, strong business sense, you know. But it's just crazy how it's almost like they play on your weaknesses. And he told me that a lot of people offer him drugs in the industry. I feel like he was his presence and who he is so strong that. And I'm saying this is all pertaining to what I'm talking about, what you just asked me is, the industry is, you just have to be very strong to get in. Once you get in, you have to know what you want. You have to know it. You have to read up on it. Don't just get in it and think that everything that they're telling you is what it is, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, independent is the best way to go, especially with all the, the internets and everything, because unless you really know your business and you really do your research, you could get sucked right in, especially if you're really, really good and they see that you have a lot of potential. They're gonna pull you in. They're gonna give you a lot of money up front. But what's gonna happen is, in the long run, they're gonna be stealing from you, because we've gotten robbed so many times I can't even tell you, and it's not even hundreds of thousands. It was millions of dollars that we've gotten robbed from the industry, and that's actually one of the things that kind of messed him up, because he's such a real person. He was so raw, he was always so honest, and he always knew what he wanted, and it seemed like no matter how real and honest and upfront that he was, they still robbed him. They pat him on the back, and they stole behind his back. And as a man, that destroyed him. And then on top of that, he started realizing that this is what I always dreamed about wanting all my life. People that, well, you know, he was so raw. Bend me over and fuck me in the ass every time he turned around. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, because he was always so raw in his expressions and what he said. But the industry, create your own lane, you know, in your own business, and just create your own buzz and do, you know, what you need to do for yourself. And if you do decide to go into the business, make sure that you know it very well. And I heard they're giving away these 360 deals, you know, a lot of times when they want to be involved with you. I would say just go for like a single deal. If they really want you that bad, I would go, you know, and say, you know, do a single. I want a single deal. Don't give me a 360 deal. I don't want an album deal with you. Just give me a single deal. I don't want any actual money from you, but I want marketing dollars on that single, because they're gonna pump the shit out of that single, and then you can take it from there. But as far as all that album deals and all of that, unless you know exactly what you want and you know the business, don't get sucked up in, because they're gonna treat you like a king, build you up, and then they're gonna tear you back down if you don't follow what they want. And that's what happened to X. A lot of them was very intimidated by him, but they know he was $1 million, you know, ticket. So he didn't realize that at the time, though. He was just like, everybody loves me, everybody wants to do stuff with me, suck my dick, you know what I'm saying? And he used to be, and he got really arrogant. And I told him, I said, Earl, like, I was just like, yo, you can't treat people like that, because what's gonna happen is, the execs, not his fans, the execs, because I said what's gonna happen is, as soon as you make one mistake, they're not gonna help you. They're gonna try to rip you down more than try to help you. And that's exactly what happened. You know, his drug problem started getting worse. And then, you know, once he went to jail and this and that, you know, ain't nobody trying to help you then. Right. He's like, this dickhead that used to tell us kiss his ass and suck his dick and this and that. And because that's how he used to talk to people, because he started realizing what they were really trying to do to him. And, you know, you have to always be on your shit when it comes to this music business. Bottom line, it's a beautiful business, a lot of money. And you know what I have to say too to the men? Don't forget about your families. Don't ever let this money change you. I'm telling you. Make sure that whoever you came in, whoever that was there from you from the beginning, and I'm speaking out of experience, regardless of what, always take time for your family, your children, and the most important people in your life. Because I'm telling you, money cannot buy happiness. I'm telling you that. It's beautiful to have great cars. It's beautiful to have millions of dollars. But if you don't have your family and the most important people to make you happy, it's nothing. I promise you when I tell you, it's nothing but headaches and heartaches. And I talk about all of this in the book. And a lot of people, the reason why I say you think you know but you have no idea is because people look at me, I don't wear what I've been through, so they automatically think I'm rich. By the grace of God, I still have my house. That's only by God, because I lost everything. But the house was shelter is the most important. I have 4 children. This is Tashera Simmons, and I'm chilling real hard at BlackandNobel, having a good old time with the great legends. I'm real happy to be right next to this one right here, though. Know his family personally. Get the book. You won't be sorry. Shout out to everybody that's watching.
Biggie said, more money's more problems. And because a lot of people think that money is going to solve their problems.
Be careful what you ask for. Definitely with this industry. With our situation, DMX and myself, we were just dirt poor. We came from broken homes. I worked, but I mean, we didn't have much. And you know, our dream, like everybody else, when you come from nothing, broken homes, you know, that's what you dream about, is being rich. And the first 2 years of his career was the best times of our life. I mean, we got rich overnight, and one thing about him, he made me involved with everything. You know, we enjoyed and shared it together. But I watched, it definitely happened gradually. I don't think he even realized how quick it happened. But you imagine, you know, what DMX struggled with early on in his childhood was attention. He never got attention, love from his family, and not even his family, his mother. You know, as a mother with 3 boys, it's very important to tell your son that you love him, hug him.
Now, you talked a little bit, well, you mentioned about abuse, mental abuse, and verbal abuse in a relationship. Talk a little bit to the women, and you know what I mean, about that situation. And you know, I mean, everyone wants to know, like, when you're in a situation, why don't you just leave and things like that. And I know that it's a whole lot more to it than just, you know, walking out on someone that you love.
First of all, when you're with someone, and I just want to make sure that I use my words correctly, because physical, mental, verbal, psychological, spiritual, mental abuse is not a game. And it's easier said than done to walk out on somebody that you know that you're getting abused like that from. In my case, because I can only speak for my situation, I've been with him since I was a kid. He's all I knew. So I didn't realize that I was being abused. But as I got out the situation 8 years later, because that's how long me and him actually been separated, people don't even know that, I realized that it's very scarring, verbal, physical, can't say physical. Physical, of course, is scarring, but verbal and mental and psychological abuse is very, very scarring for the women and men, because not only women deal with this. Verbal, physical, mental, and psychological abuse is not gender or color.
Right.
And the only thing that I can say for someone that's dealing with that is, if your soul and your spirit is not feeling good, you need to leave the person alone. Because you don't want to be 50, 60 years old and see your whole life just pass you by when you could have done something. So you have to love yourself first. In my case, I don't think I loved myself enough to leave. I did it for my children. My 14-year-old son was working out. I told him, okay, you're getting big, you're getting your muscle game up. And he said, no, Ma, I'm getting my muscle game up because the next time my father talks to you like that, I'm going to kill him. And I saw the anger in his eyes, and he's not that kind of a kid, very humble. And I realized that I had to make a choice. And that choice was to make sure that my kids don't continue and repeat that same cycle. Because the way that used to make me feel was so small that I can't even explain how demeaning, embarrassing. And the bigger X got, the worse his drug problem got, the worse the abuse got. And he didn't even see it. He always had an excuse. He would curse me out in front of the managers, whatever, tell me I'm not nothing, if I forget his Timbs, what are you good for, I don't even know I bring you on the road, in front of people, call me all kind of B's, and you know, I wouldn't say anything in front of him, I mean, you know, at the time, because I always believed in keeping, you know, that behind closed doors. Right. So when I did address him behind closed doors, he said, oh, you don't even know what abuse is, and you know, a lot of men treat their women way worse. Please understand, writing this book is not something that I planned to do or wanted to do. The last thing I wanted to do was display my private and most intimate times of my life to the world. The truth is, I had no choice. The world came to me after me and DMX separated. I felt like I was nothing, and the world was just laughing at me, when all I ever tried to do was be a good friend, a wife, and a mother to the man that I loved more than life. So even though he hurt me beyond words, I refused to say a word and make him look bad. All I wanted to do was heal and move on. But everywhere I turned, I got the constant reminder that I was DMX's wife. All I think in my head was, they're all laughing at me and saying, look at this dumb woman. But God just kept sending his angels everywhere. Everywhere I went when I was in my darkest days, while I was in the grocery store, the post office, or a movie theater, I would get a tap on the shoulder, and a woman or man would say, with genuine love in their eyes, you are an inspiration. Keep your head up. So each time that was said to me, my head rose higher and higher until I realized it wasn't my fault. I could take this mask off of embarrassment and shame. I could put on my face of strength, and I am a warrior and a survivor. As I kept getting stronger and stronger, I started realizing the way he used to talk to me and treat me was so wrong. I recall being woken up out my sleep for 10 years in the middle of the night, whether it was a hotel room or a house, to make a bowl of cereal and something to drink. And if I forgot one of them, because I was half asleep, I would be told that I wasn't good enough to do anything. Hold up, son. I didn't think anything was wrong. He was the only man I had ever been with or ever knew for the past 25 years. And I had nothing to compare with. My story of being told is not to bash DMX. I never loved DMX. I loved Earl Simmons. There was a lot of things I left out that I could have told in this book. For example, I know a lot of the celebrity women that my ex-husband slept with, but I didn't expose them because this book is not about that. DMX was the love of my life, my everything. Between the drugs, the fame, and the fortune, and the women, our family was destroyed. As I move on in life, I thought I would never, ever be able to open up my heart again and love another man the way I loved him. I thank God every day of all the things that I've been through, because because it made me the woman I am today, a mighty strong warrior of God. And I pray every night for DMX and the woman that sold their souls to be with a married man for fame and fortune. I forgive them with all my heart. What I learned from my story is you have to love yourself first. If you ever stop believing in yourself, you must know that all you have to do is lean on your faith and not your own human understanding. And God will pull you through the rest of the way. So, it was worth every bit of me writing this book. As I reflect on my life, I broke all generational curses for my children. And it feels great that I took my pain and turned it into purpose. So as I say to everyone, being a celebrity is not what it seems to be. Please take something from my life and learn. Don't let my life experiences go in vain. With love, Tashera.
Thank you for that. Thank you for coming to Black and Nobel. The book is on sale, Black and Nobel. Tashera Simmons, you think you know, but you have no idea. It's on sale, Black and Nobel, for $15. Thank you for coming here, Miss. You're truly inspiration. Give it up for y'all here, Black and Nobel. And are you going to stick around for a little bit, sign some books? If you buy the book tonight, you also walk away with an autographed copy and a picture with Tashera Simmons, y'all. And a gift bag. Oh, and a gift bag as well. We have some great products in the gift bag. So we're going to keep this joint. So get up for one more time. Tashera Simmons for coming through. Talking about a book. The book is on sale. BlackandNobel, $15.
This is Tashera Simmons, and I'm chilling real hard at BlackandNobel, having a good old time with the great legends. I'm real happy to be right next to this one right here, though. Know his family personally. Get the book. You won't be sorry. Shout out to everybody that's watching.